Hey, Scott here, Scotty's Record Room. Today, if my getup is any indication, it's all about rock. And before I actually get into the record that I've selected, which is a really awesome one, by the way, and you'll be able to see what it is in the title, I wanted to. People talked about in one of my previous videos my gourds and my gourd guitar. I showed an example of a gourd guitar, and I think there's something really interesting about this gourd guitar and gourd instruments in general. Gourd instruments are some of the oldest instruments in the world, dating back, thousands of years out of Africa as drums and as stringed instruments similar to this. But also in America, one of the earliest guitars that you would find are cigar box guitars. They were easily assembled with affordable materials that pretty much anyone had lying around. And I was listening to an awesome podcast with Mark Maron and Roger Daltrey, and he was talking about how he had to build his own guitar, and that so did Jimmy Page, and so did a lot of the early guitar players from that era. Okay, maybe that's a little foreshadowing about what we're about to listen to in the record. But it's so interesting to hear that and to see the connection between the rock music that was coming out of England in the 60s, late 60s, from the skiffle bands on past, and how they were directly influenced by the blues musicians of America, and those blues musicians were creating their own guitars from things that they had lying around. So I think that this is like kind of the most amazing instrument in that it is the most basic rock instrument and also harkens back to one of the most basic instruments in the history of music on earth. So this is a cigar box gourd guitar. Listen to it acoustically. Now, I don't claim to be an expert at playing this 3-string style guitar, but let's turn it on, listen to it. Cigar box gourd guitar, and this was the reason why I'm playing this and showing this introduction is because somebody in the comments wanted to know more about it. So there you go. Now let's get into the music. There we go.
The Yardbirds.
The Yardbirds, everybody.
Thank you. I'm going to start off with a thing called the train. I roll that.
Man, that guitar sounds familiar. Who are the Yardbirds, okay? Right? Who is Jimmy Page? Jimmy Page, right? Guitar player, Led Zeppelin. I imagine there's going to be people from all ages, all interests of musical tastes, maybe listening to this. So I don't know what you know. But let me just read the back here. March 30th, 1968, and the Yardbirds had come to the Lower East Side's Anderson Theater to make what was ultimately to be their farewell concert in New York. As interesting as this story is, what I think is more exciting is the fact that this album, this record, is a counterfeit. When it was originally recorded, the band wasn't satisfied with it and they didn't want it to be released. But a few years later, when Jimmy Page had gone on to Led Zeppelin, the success of that band, the record label decided to release the recording then. Jimmy Page sued the record label and they were unable to produce it again. But there were counterfeit records, which is what this is. So this actually is the album, it is the music, but it is not an authorized record. So what this is the band that Jimmy Page was in before Led Zeppelin. And the Yardbirds were really had a lot of hits and were pretty popular in their own right at that time. It's interesting that a lot of these songs don't register anymore. But there's a couple in here that you will find very familiar. Let's crank it up. Let's give it a little more bass. Okay, so that's Keith doing the harmonica. You can see this is pretty warped record. Maybe it was worth $100. Speaking of Roger Daltrey, doesn't he kind of sound? He's got a little bit of that, which ain't a bad thing. Got the drums. I'm not complaining, that's good. Hell yeah. You wouldn't have Iron Maiden unless you had this first. It's true, it's so... And you know, that's what young Bruce Dickinson was grooving to when he was a kid, as well as everything else. I mean, it's blues, right? All night long. It's blues, man. Alright. No disrespect. What's weird about this record to me is that so much of it sounds so familiar, right? You're like, man, like everything about this except the guy's voice is different, right? It's like, where's Robert Plant? Like, is this playing at the right speed? Plus, with my record player, you never know. Alright. But what made this record amazing to me, now let me just make sure that this is, but look at this, Drinking Muddy Water. We're going to listen to that. But I'm confused. That's track 3. God, if you guys could smell this record, it smells every bit as old as it is. Oh, the smell of that paper. Okay, here's track 3. And tell me if you recognize this. Okay, here we go. Ready? Ooh. I'll call it a nice drop. 2 points. Alright, focus. Do you hear it already? You know what this is. Right? Don't you really, you wish there was like, gaze and confused, right? It's like too smooth. It's like kind of frustrating because you're like, what is this? We're so close, we're so close, right? No diss again. I'm not in any way dissing Keith, right? It's just that, right? This is like prehistory. Man, listen. Ow! Right? But where's Robert Plant? Right? But he is doing it with the harp. There's definitely some intertwining, some love making with the music. I mean, this is about exploration. It's about listening. And that's what's so awesome about records is you gotta listen now. You can't be like, oh, I know what this is, because you don't know what this is. You don't know what this is. And even if you do, it's not like you listen to it every day. These are the foundational groundwork, the tracks being laid out for what would become. Led Zeppelin, lead a whole generation of new musicians. I'm just getting pumped up thinking about it. I'm sorry. I lost control there for a second. Like, I just got this record, I was like, oh, it's Jimmy Page, oh, okay, whatever. And then you, like, realize the significance of what it really is. And this is an analog duplication. That means this is completely analogous to the original recordings. It's never been interpreted into ones and zeros. It's always been waves. All right, and this was only side one. I'd feel remiss. Sacrilege. Let me put the thing down. Flip the record. I'd be remiss if I didn't do a little bit of side two. Let's see, what do we have? Over, under, sideways, down, drinking muddy water. I think that's what we've just got to skip to track 2. That's going to really take it back. Is it a reference to Muddy Waters?
Guitar is being tuned down.
Oh.
You're interested in how samba called drinking muddy water.
We got a little secret information that Jimmy Page had to tune his guitar down. From where to where? Trying to figure out how to get these videos down to like less than 10 minutes, but we're listening to some really awesome music, and I don't know, whole album. So maybe you can find this digitally. Maybe someone has uploaded it to somewhere. Maybe you can buy the record on eBay. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Anyways, let me know if you can find it somewhere and what you think about it. And this was by request. Someone said you gotta review some. Did they say classic rock or did they just say rock? Well, it doesn't get more classic than this. Ugh. All right, we'll do one more song. Let's do the last track. I'm a man. Shoot, that last track looks like it goes on forever. It's 11:59. Yeah, that's cool. You won't listen to the whole thing, but here we go. Yeah! Perfect drop!
Thank you very much for doing. Pièce de résistance.
This is their pièce de résistance, I guess.
With this number.
Something is.
Just do what you're doing, but do it in time, you know? It's quite a nice rhythm, and if you could do it loud enough, keep my thumb and your feet on the floor, yeah, just see what you can do.
I doubt I have the same key. No. This is a G. I think I probably need a C. Wah-wah pedal. It's just simple. They're just getting the crowd going, right? It's like the last song. Crank it up. So lots of people have mentioned this or touched upon this, but it's hilarious that it took the British to reintroduce us or actually introduce us to our own blues, and the musicians that they were idolizing, we finally rediscovered, you know, and it like took traveling across the ocean and a whole other country and culture to appreciate what we had and were not understanding and appreciating, and what we were actively suppressing. There's a lot of crazy history, but the music triumphs. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like this, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and the next video that comes out, you'll know right away. Where's that album cover? I got gourds everywhere. Live Yardbirds. Here, can you read that? You can always pause it.